Hello, how are you? Excellent. I'm thrilled to be here and share with you some of the cool new things in InterSystems IRIS with the help from a few of my friends. These are not just cool. I think they're meant to be immediately applicable for you as customers. And of course, there's more detail about each of these in afternoon sessions. So let's get into it. As Scott said, InterSystems IRIS continues to have this value proposition of an integrated set of capabilities so that you can build amazing things quickly and run them at high performance and safely. We'll talk a lot about AI, not just yesterday at the conference, today at the conference, but for some of the things we'll show you. Last night at Demos and Drinks, someone asked me, I hear AI, 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 are you doing anything else? And I will say, of course, that the other aspects that are pervasive for data management are things that we continue to be not just, I'll say, attentive to, but in cases like security, safety, reliability, downright obsessed with. So in the releases that you all have been using, you'll see, I hope, a regular stream of new value across that whole surface area. As Scott said, we're always evolving what we can do for you, how well we do it, in speed as well as in ease of use, where we do it, and the prevalence of cloud deployments is now just remarkable among you guys in our customer base. And then how easy it is to consume, the different ways you can consume it. So there is a method to this. We continue to build on the same stable core and extend it to provide more and more facilities. So for example, columnar storage, which was released in 2023.1, is the basis for vector search. The FHIR enhancements that we do in each release not only build on the FHIR standard, so for example, we have R5 support, we're one of the first in the industry to do that, but they build on each other. You know, our ability to do the FHIR SQL Builder is part of an overall program to provide great analytics on healthcare data. We continue to focus on developer tools, on cloud readiness, containerization, and Kubernetes. Those things have their own rhythm now. Things are moving much faster in the cloud, and customers who are running in the cloud are adopting new facilities much faster. So we have sped those things up. And as we start to do things that are cloud first, that acceleration will continue. You've also helped us very much in how we deliver, and I'm proud to say that you're already ready for many of the issues, the nitty-gritty issues in building and running mission-critical software. For example, platform readiness. As people do more and more cloud elements, we've sped up. So for example, the time from Ubuntu 24.1 coming out at the end of April to it being fully tested, fully hardened, and fully supported with IRIS was under 3 weeks. And as the number of supply chain, software supply chain attacks go up, we're already ready. We have accelerated our container scanning, our container building, and our vigilance on the software supply chain so that we build every day when there is a high severity, a CVSS score, for example, issue in some open source library, we're able to respond really quickly so that you guys can keep your systems and your customers safe. So you've got a sense of the way we're delivering software, but I have to share a sort of a personal problem that maybe you can relate to, which is I continually feel like I have way too much to do. This conference has been amazing, and we're all super busy, but I've got a big to-do list right after this. I have to plan a family vacation. It's not just any family vacation, it's super important. I have to call my broker to get money to go on this vacation, and I've got a couple of commitments to create code. I promised to code up a conference app. I've got to wire up things in interoperability, and I'm feeling very scared. I don't know how I'm going to get all this done, but I do have some faith that with InterSystems' new techniques and the time savers, I might have some hope. And I'll start with vector search. How many people have already tried vector search? This is actually the fastest adoption of a brand new feature in InterSystems IRIS that we've ever seen. And vector search is not just doing conceptual matching through high-dimensional vectors that Scott was talking about, but it solves a big problem in the industry and Gen AI in general. These large language models are trained on enormous amounts of public data. ChatGPT-4, OpenAI is a little secretive, but they're estimated to have over 1.5 trillion nodes. 4.0, a little bit more than that. 5, perhaps 20 times that. So essentially, all of the public data that's out there is used in this training, which makes it both expensive to train, but also slow. So the data is public, and it's stale. The cutoff point for GPT 4.0 was 6 months ago. More importantly, it's not your data, and it's not particularly secure. So the result, if you just work with an LLM, is problems with accuracy and problems with hallucination. A solution to that is to apply vector search with an LLM. You're vectorizing the data that you already have in IRIS, and then you're using that in a pattern called retrieval augmented generation. We'll talk a little bit more about that. That allows you to ground it so that it's more accurate, and to use your data, up-to-date data, and do so securely. So to get a little bit more into vector search, let me come over and introduce you to Alvin Ryan Putra. Hey, Alvin, how are you?
I'm good. It's great to be here.
Yeah, this is a super exciting moment. Now, I know you, but maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience a little.
Yeah, thank you. My name's Alvin. I'm one of the developers working on vector search and Gen AI.
Very, very cool. So Alvin is not just the perfect person to explain vector search. And by the way, you have a session this afternoon that does exactly that. But he also is the perfect person to help me with one of my problems, which is planning this family vacation. You know, we're actually cousins, long-lost cousins. And together we have a big extended family. How many of you ever do these big family reunions? Well, in my family, our family, it's A, huge, B, a lot of persnickety people, and we even have a fund set aside for it, so there's no excuses for not going. Last time my brother planned it, and it was a disaster. He didn't plan ahead. We got there. There was all the cool things to do were already booked up. People sat around grousing at each other. This year, it's Alvin and my turn to organize it, so we're going to be ready. Is there a way you can help us with this, with vector search?
Yes. So me and Jeff are part of a very large extended family, and so we have a lot of people going. So I already have the air tickets and hotels reserved, and so it's about time we got started on booking some activities and getting people really excited about it.
Excellent. Now, this year, another kicker is we're getting to go to one of my favorite places, which is Hawaii. We're going to Kauai. Anybody want to come with us? Excellent. You can be my cousin too. And but even though we've picked out what we want to do, we want to go hiking on the Nepali coast, we want to go surfing, we want to figure out what's going to happen if it rains. Getting this all organized with our family is a little difficult. So we've taken all of this private data from our family to use with vector search.
Exactly. So I have a list of family profiles and some pictures from our shared album. I have them all stored in an InterSystems IRIS database as SQL tables. And I also have vector embeddings generated for each of them. So what should we get started with?
Well, let's do the hiking first. I know Nepali coast books up. I also know that it's pretty strenuous, like Aunt Mildred could never do this. So let's see if we can find somebody who's a great leader for this trip.
Right, let's see who should help lead a hiking trip. Looks like we got a few people. I'm also up there.
Yeah, I'd go hiking with you. I'm surprised I'm there because
I recall recently Mark shared a picture of him hiking in the mountains. Let me put it up.
Mark, yeah. He strikes me as pretty hardcore. And we all shared this family photo album with embarrassing pictures that we wouldn't put out publicly.
There you go.
I would put that one out publicly, even though he didn't. Where is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. And all of you in the audience can also try guessing where the picture is.
Any guesses?
In the Himalayas, it's likely to be in Everest. It looks like Mark's pretty hardcore indeed, and he can help us, lead the trip and plan which route to take.
Yeah, this is a classic management technique called delegation. We're going to get Mark to do all the hiking stuff. How about surfing?
Let's ask anybody with experience surfing. We got a couple. Thomas is a beginner. Looks like Maggie is very experienced.
I don't really know Maggie that well. She just married into the family. Maybe
I'll get a picture.
Okay. Ooh.
There you go. Okay.
We have a really accomplished family.
Yeah.
And Maggie not only looks cool, but we have a lot of Gen Zers. We always have this problem with the teens because they don't really want to be around the adults. But how about, I know there's like surfing lessons for teens, and maybe we can get Maggie to set that up. Who might want to do that?
I'm on it. Any teachers who may like surfing lessons?
Zoe, Liam.
All right.
These are all late 90s, early 20s names.
Looks like we got Abigail and Zoe.
Okay, great. So let's get Maggie to set that up. Let's use her photo because it's really inspiring. What if it rains, though?
So I know there's some really famous beer breweries in Kauai. Let me ask for some recommendations.
I'm into beer. Wow, there's 3.
Looks like we have plenty of options.
4. I don't know. Somebody's got to pick those.
Yeah, let's see if there's any beer experts.
Any beer experts out there?
Jeff, are you a beer expert? Are you going to show up here?
I'm a gourmand. You're a beer expert.
I'm up there. Well, there's no one in particular, so I guess I gotta call them up and check.
Too bad. But now I feel like we're really ready for this trip. We've got people delegated to set it up. We've got lots of beer because I know you'll help with that. Why don't you show what was happening under the hood there?
Absolutely. So what we saw here was a really simple RAG pattern. Let me just zoom in. So this is a really simple RAG pattern that does two LLM calls. So the first call to the large language model helps to translate what I asked into a SQL query that helps me grab contextual information. So who should help lead a hiking trip got translated into this. So I'm grabbing names and profiles of people who are the most similar to person who enjoys hiking and outdoor activities. This grabs me a whole bunch of information in which I now send back to a large language model to ask, hey, help me answer this query. And you can see here that, so all this retrieval is really done with basic SQL. And that's really useful because now I can also search across other structured information. So if you recall when we asked any teenagers who may like surfing lessons, this was translated into a query that has where age between 13 and 19, and also ordered by teenager interested in surfing lessons. And this is really powerful because you can apply filters across structured data like numbers, categories, and still do a similarity search across unstructured text data, which is more or less known as a hybrid search.
Cool. So that means that people that already have structured data in IRIS can mix it with vector search pretty easily. How did those pictures come up?
Right, let me show you. So when I asked for a picture of Mark hiking in the mountains, you can see that SQL is exactly the same. And the reason why I was able to search for those pictures was because I use a multimodal embedding model. And that's an model that takes both text and images and maps them onto the same vector space, which means I'll be able to do text-to-image search, image-to-image, so on and so forth. And they're all using the same vector search that we're seeing over here. And this is really cool because this opens up a whole world of possibilities, because now when I retrieve that image, I can now feed it into a multimodal large language model like GPT-4o. So when we asked where was the first picture taken, all I did was feed that picture into GPT-4o, and it was able to tell us that that looks sort of like the Himalayas, that looks like Everest. And so the Gen AI industry is really moving towards multimodality, and vector search is always going to remain the primary technology to help you grab data from your database to feed onto these really powerful large language models.
I love this because also people can add images, audio, video, different types to their existing applications they could never do before.
Exactly.
That SQL syntax, if you can go back to it, looks really simple to me.
Yeah, so we really designed this to be as simple as possible. I set some super simple configuration beforehand, and now I'm able to do this similarity search without dealing with vectors, without looking at a long list of numbers. As you can see, all of this is just plain natural language in your SQL. And what that means is that even if you're not super technical, I'm not very good at SQL myself, you can make these queries really easily, just like that.
So for those organizations that are worried about skill acquisition and how they can gear up for this, you'll still need to learn about Gen AI, but you can use your SQL skills.
Absolutely. And so what we saw here was a really, really simple chat assistant demo with RAG. But I'm sure you can see the parallel here. Many of you are working with data that's really valuable, really proprietary, that GPT-4 has no access to. And with vector search, you'll be able to really leverage this data to power some really cool AI products and experiences. So I'm really excited to see what you can build with it.
Thank you so much. And you've also solved this vacation problem. Our family is not going to be sitting around grousing at each other. We're going to be hiking, surfing, and drinking.
Absolutely. See you in Hawaii, Jeff.
Thank you. So if you were at Demos and Drinks last night, you might have noticed 12 different demos based upon vector search. We've used it at hackathons, we've used it in contests. We really want to make sure it's easy for you to add to your application, and the possibilities are amazing. Radiology images are very effectively dealt with a lot of these LLMs, and by using this RAG pattern, in this case, going first to the LLM to understand the question, using IRIS internally to get at the data really securely, and then going back to the LLM to format the answer, you're in control. So we've talked about vector search and this benefit. I'll also mention that you can get going with it even without an LLM, right? Vectors are useful for conceptual search, classically for, it'll make your search better. And you saw Augie talking about enterprise search on unstructured data, also for things like recommendations, et cetera. So there's a QR code there. Vector search is in 24.1 already. It's now available along with our Cloud SQL service. And that code takes you to our early access programs where you just get extra hand-holding and extra help. But you can also just take the software and have at it. A second new thing I wanted to go a little bit deeper into is called the InterSystems Data Fabric Studio. Now, we've been talking about the data fabric pattern, the idea that you have common governance across data, whether you connect to it or whether you collect it. You can see in the Data Fabric Studio the concept of being able to work with that data in a low-code fashion, because often the business analysts in your organization are not coders. And we've also built AI into it. So to talk a little bit more about that, I want to introduce Mike Hom. Hi.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Mike. So maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Hom. I worked over 25 years at several investment banks. I manage global development teams where we build cross-product trading systems that handle billions of dollars of transactions a day to analytical platforms that process millions to billions of computations. I joined InterSystems 4 years ago to lead our financial services solutions team and to work with the amazing set of engineers within to develop innovative solutions tailored to our industry.
So the Data Fabric Studio is sort of your baby built in your group.
Baby, yeah?
Yeah, you're a teenager, sorry.
All right.
So, Mike, you're the perfect person to take us to the Data Fabric Studio. Since you're also a money guy, you can help me with my second thing on the to-do list, which is that I have to call my broker. I need to get some money for this 51-person family outing. Every time I talk to my broker, I feel like she is bamboozling me, frankly. I like thinking about code. I don't really get a lot of this money stuff. So I need to do some research and really be ready for this. I will mention, by the way, that in the making of this demo, no actual stock tips have been provided. No financial analysts were harmed in the making of this demo. So, but Mike, you're a money guy. I know this takes a lot of time to do research normally, but I'm in a hurry. Can you help?
No worries. With my new virtual research assistant, we can take hundreds to thousands of pages of documents and compile them and analyze them really quick. So the research that normally would take hours to days can now be done in minutes.
I'm seeing that you've already started doing a lot of this research.
Yeah, so let's see what we have here. So you asked me about Tesla and Apple.
Yeah.
So the first two questions here provide a short but comprehensive summary of each, highlighting the direction and the performance and the challenges. And additionally, as you can tell, there's links to the actual references provided. So, we want to get a better overall picture, so we also want to look at the risk profile. So we see that I wanted to start with product challenges. They both seem to have a set of issues because their respective markets are very complex. Also we want to look at geopolitical conflicts. So we looked at that. And since both companies are global, have global supply chain and operations, it does make sense that they're also impacted.
So what about NVIDIA?
NVIDIA, okay, well, so let me tell you, and let's do that, all right? As you can tell, they're doing quite well. They have good revenue and growth, obviously driven by the AI boom, okay?
This looks like hundreds of pages of research.
And it is. Just to, again, to give you a better picture, like stability is a key indicator of a great company. So let's do a comparison of those three companies now, right? Okay. Here we go. Okay, so there's, let's see. There's some detail on each one, I believe. Yep. There you go. And also a summarization. So that kind of gives you a nice comprehensive view, giving you all that data, and you can click through as you see. So the next question I want to ask is around leadership, right? Great companies have great leaders. So here we have a short summarization of the management styles and focus, as well as the challenges of Tim Cook, Elon Musk, and Jensen Huang. So, while they're all three are different, they all have strong leadership.
This is great. I really feel prepared and less sort of intimidated by my upcoming meeting. I've also learned that strong leadership and stability are key to the performance of companies. I wish I could get some InterSystems stock. Could you help me out?
I think there's some other person you need to talk to.
Okay. So all of this was done with a research assistant on the Data Fabric Studio. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what's happening under the hood. We've got a lot of data coming in. So what are the fundamental elements that people should know about?
Of course. So the research assistant that you just saw was built on top of InterSystems Data Fabric Studio. And so what I can do is quickly show you how easily it can be set up. Okay? All right. There we go. Okay, so starting off with the workflow capabilities, we created these data feeds of the public news articles and the SEC filings you just saw. As Jeff mentioned, each one is like about 80 plus pages of rich, detailed information provided by the companies themselves. And then we utilized the scheduling capabilities and automated all those loads for you. So you don't need to think about it, it just runs and it's updated continuously. Right. Once that data is in the Data Fabric Studio, all of it can be utilized in a traditional fashion with a SQL Explorer that you just saw, or in a more innovative fashion with a virtual assistant like you see right now.
This is amazing. So it's a low-code interface.
Yep.
You just schedule the data sources you want in. You use these recipes, which allow you to bring stuff in. And I know that you've got a session at the end of the day today to go deeper into it. So I'd really recommend that people come see Mike and learn a lot more about the Data Fabric Studio. Thank you so much.
Yeah, enjoy your trip to Kauai.
Yeah. You know what? You're now an honorary cousin. You can come with us.
Oh, that's great. All right.
So the Data Fabric Studio is brand new, but available as something you want to check out, come to Mike's session. And the concept again, is that it is easy to use by non-coders, low code, and that it's a platform on which we'll build GenAI. So the Data Fabric Studio itself is hereby generally available. The research assistant we showed is still in development. Super cool. So we've got a couple of key things for you to check out that have helped me with my to-do list. I've still got 2 to go. And this vacation is going to start next week. The 2 things I've got left are a lot of work in software development. I promised I would write a conference application to help schedule this thing next year. And I also am I'm also committed to building a couple of interoperability productions. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get all this done. But I will say that embedded Python will help me a lot. Who is already using embedded Python? Okay, that's a really nice show of hands. As Augie was talking about, this opens up a whole world. Python is now, at 8.2 million developers, the most popular programming language. And it opens up an ecosystem of over 138,000 libraries in PyPy, as well as a whole skill profile. And now, of course, with GenAI, most of the frameworks are all in Python. We continue to evolve embedded Python. There's a bunch of sessions at Global Summit about it. And I want to highlight 2 new things. The first is in 24.1, we've added WSGI support. That's a way to take web services frameworks like Flask or Django, use them directly within embedded Python, and have them fit in the security framework of IRIS. Also, we benefit from picking up tools from the ecosystem, like the GitHub Copilot for Python. Who has used a GitHub Copilot before? All right, so if you haven't seen it, what you'll see is when there's a gray italicized text, that's the machine making a suggestion. You can just hit Tab to accept the suggestion, or you can change it. So I'm going to try to write this conference app that, frankly, I'm a pretty rusty developer, and I am really bad at front ends, but I'll see if the Copilot can help me out. Okay, I'm in VS Code. I've imported IRIS. I've imported Django. And I'm making a model for the speaker. And now I'm making a model for the talk. And I just accept what the machine is suggesting, including the parameters. Fix up things a little bit in my code, and I want to now validate the email of the speaker. I'm guessing the best way is if they are registered for the conference, that their email is going to be good. Code is generated for me. I have to register those 3 models. The Copilot is suggesting that. And my video is going twice as fast as I prepared it. But you get the idea. I'm not actually that fast of a coder. We're now going through all of the data in IRIS and converting it and popping into a UI built by Django. So you can see the models, and I can plug into them, and there's already a UI that allows you to edit the data and work with it. So by using Copilot and the miracle of recorded demos, I've been able to code this much faster. This would have taken me hours and hours and hours, and in roughly 1 minute and 37 seconds, I've built an app. I use Django, which is a very popular framework with lots of knowledge around it, to do the UI backed by the IRIS database, all from embedded Python. So now I've got that one out of the way. I still have one to go. And I love our interoperability. It's just amazingly powerful. But I've promised to do a couple of transformations, and testing those requires a live environment. It requires a lot of parameters. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I think what I will do is turn to a new facility in development that's a DTL assistant. Now, you might be familiar in interoperability that there's a nice drag and drop interface for productions, and you may or may not have seen our brand new UI, which is now available in Health Connect Cloud and available for customers to work with in that environment. How many people have worked directly with DTL? Great. So behind that UI, there's a language, the data transformation language. And this has been around a long time. There's great learning services material for it. Many of our migration tools are built on it. It's just a bit of a secret behind the scenes. It's a programming language. Therefore, a programming copilot makes total sense. And what we've done is tuned a model, taken an existing LLM, tuned it with DTLs in order to generate productions. So it can use English to get me going on building productions. And let me show you what that looks like. Essentially, this is another, almost all UIs are now just a text box in the future. So I'm saying, please make me a DTL that goes from HL721 to HL723. Those are known schema. The mapping is inferred. And once I have the mapping and it confirmed the changes, it pops me into the UI. So now I've got an interoperability transformation built in roughly 47 seconds, and I'm good to go. I'll mention that these coding copilots are really powerful, but it's still your code, and it's still your responsibility. So you have control, and the copilots make it a lot easier. They also make it a lot easier to take new developers or people that may not have deep skill set and get them up to speed much faster. I just want to reinforce that it's still your responsibility to make sure your code works really well. Now, you've showed you both an embedded Python and a DTL assistant copilot. I've now got the trip planned, I've got the money, I've found the time somehow, so I'm already ready to head off to Hawaii. But I've mostly talked about things that are either already available in InterSystems IRIS or in near development, where we're clear and we're looking for you as customers feedback, and in the case of the DTL assistant, if you have DTLs that you'd be willing to share to help us train, that would also be great. And I'll mention there's a session tomorrow about this DTL assistant. What about the vision and really where we're going in the big picture? Well, for that, I'd like to introduce a new member of InterSystems executive team. Gökhan Udalaria is, I always get his name wrong, sorry Gökhan, has joined the team as the head of the director of product management for data platforms. Now, Gökhan has a long, illustrious career, but as you can see, he's made an exponential shift up into joining InterSystems. He and I were both at Microsoft at the same time, also both worked in the transformation of SharePoint from on-prem to the cloud, but then Gökhan also worked on Azure Machine Learning. Then went to Salesforce and their data cloud, where, again, cloud and machine learning. So it's fabulous skills for where InterSystems is going. And so Gökhan, welcome to the stage.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for that warm welcome and the introduction. Really appreciate it. And as Jeff mentioned, I've been through several technology transformations throughout my career. And obviously, we're going through yet another one nowadays. Gen AI and AI is a conversation in every platform like this, as well as at our kitchen tables, because our kids are now doing their homeworks with using ChatGPT. That's the reality of life. And this disruption, I think, is a bit more than just a technology disruption. It's becoming kind of a societal disruption as well. We're all trying to get used to it in our lives. Now, despite consuming most of the conversational bandwidth, Gen AI and Azure, artificial intelligence, there are other technology trends that are really top of the mind for a lot of the decision makers. We are still in the middle of cloud transformation. It's not done yet, right? Cloud brought us enterprise software in the cloud. It brought us hyperscalers like Azure and AWS, and big data analytics and AI and ML at very large scale in the cloud. Some strategic partnerships were forged, such as the one between OpenAI and Microsoft, kind of what brought us to the days we're living in today, which is the day of generative AI. And I think more appropriately, I would call it democratized AI. It's everywhere. Now, with cloud transformation, I think we also started having a different kind of complication and a different kind of challenges. Picking the right technology with the explosion of choice, right, and the optionality became really difficult. And integrating those different technologies together to provide a coherent experience. And when you were able to do that, you realized that it wasn't necessarily always cheap. So more and more of our organizations are now looking into composable best-of-breed solutions that solve a specific problem, a business problem in a vertical. And they are seeking out vendors that not only throw technology at them, but also end-to-end industry solutions that work coherently. And they come with services as well. So with our differentiated data technologies and the services we provide, and the industry-leading vertical solutions, and with our ability to support our customers on-premises, in our cloud-hosted solutions, now with cloud-native services, and in hybrid modalities as well, I believe really puts our company, InterSystems, in a great place to continue to be a trusted partner and a companion for our customers in these transformative journeys. Well, not only that, I think we have a very exciting and ambitious vision for the future as well. We are seeing the next generation of our data platform as your data and AI operating system in the cloud. Not just a data management system, but an operating system that is a master orchestrator of all your data and AI services, and it really solves your problems up and down the entire stack of building intelligent solutions. Your data and AI operating system should act like one of the operating systems that you're using on your laptops today. Imagine you have Mac OS or Windows-powered laptop. When you buy it, you know you want to get the compute and the storage you need, and also can store anything you want, your files, your music, your spreadsheets, your pictures. And you can run your most favorite application without really much concern as to how the operating system interacts with your applications and the bare metal, the CPU, the hard drive, and the network. The operating system gives you a powerful integrated experience where you can run your applications harmoniously on your data. And it gives you a desktop experience that is the most pleasant and easy way to interact with the system, not just a command prompt. And yes, it is also very smart. It goes to sleep when you step away 30 minutes, and then it actually starts shutting down background processes when the energy budget is really tight. So why not think about our data platform exactly that way going forward? Your data and AI operating system should provide a strong multi-cloud foundation, hiding the complexities of the cloud infrastructure from you. It should give you a common data plane that allows you to bring all your data together in one platform and also operate on it, do analytics on it. It shouldn't stop there because you're not done. You are not done with your solution. It should give you capabilities such as bringing in your business rules, your orchestrations, your workflows into your application so that you can package it up and use it and serve it to your upstream consumers. And yes, it should also come with that modern desktop-like experience that comes with co-pilots and AI assistants when you're building data transformations, data pipelines, or a very complex SQL query. And it should also have a modern user experience. We are envisioning our cloud portal to become one-stop shop for all your data and for all your data and AI services. It gives you a common data plane to manage them. It gives you an authoring canvas where you're able to bring these capabilities, this composable data and AI services together so that you can build that intelligent solution. It gives you enterprise capabilities, much needed capabilities, such as data compartmentalization, data cataloging, and also workspaces that allow you and your teams to collaborate safely and in a trusted way. This is your 360-degree view. This is your 360-degree control. And this platform is the magic that enables customer 360, patient 360, and data 360. Well, this was just a Hollywood-style movie trailer. Sorry I couldn't make that thick animated voice. I should have used Gen AI for that. But we do have a session this afternoon at 1:30 where we're going to double-click on our vision and roadmap, and we're going to also touch upon the last 12 months of innovations that our team has delivered. Great stuff. And we would love to hear from you, learn from you, and get your feedback so that we can refine this roadmap and vision together with you and make you even more successful in what I call the age of disruption. Thank you so much.
So Goken is a really powerful vision. We know where we're going, and we're sort of already on the road with our customers, such as the Data Fabric Studio is right in line with this.
Absolutely.
So highly recommend going to Goken session after lunch, and if you can't, definitely a must watch. But now it's time for a break. We're going to do only a 15-minute break, and I'm going to head to Hawaii. Thank you.